Hello, my name's Bob. I got interested in model making when I was in the Navy. And my fiancée at that time, now my wife Sally, introduced me to Dragon Slayers, a wargaming club in Queen's University. I love history, I love reading about the generals, the armies, the politics, and finding out why all these battles were fought. And it's fair to say that we all have plenty of battles in our own lives. For me personally, some of the most difficult times has been my battles with cancer. My cancer first announced itself on the 31st of December, 2019. I ended up in A&E with severe abdominal pain because my appendix had burst. When they removed my appendix, they discovered that I had cancer. They told me I would require further surgery and a 6-month course of fairly aggressive chemotherapy. After I recovered from the initial operation, some friends took me to Divine Healing Service in St. Anne's Cathedral. There was a time of worship, and then they called for people to come forward who wanted prayer. I went forward and someone anointed me with oil, and then a man called Fergus McMorrow placed his hand on my shoulder and prayed with me. I thought something had gone wrong with my eyes. My peripheral vision closed in, and all I could see was Fergus's face with an orangey yellow glow around it. He prayed with me, and he prayed that the peace of the Lord would be upon me. The prayer was relatively short, and I returned to my seat. It took a little while, but my vision returned to normal. And I thought to myself, that was a strange experience, wasn't it? And despite my years of Christian faith, something deep within me had changed. Something was stirring up in me. A few weeks later, I met the doctor, explained to me and my wife what the treatment plan would be over the next few months. There came a point when I realized that something wasn't being said. So I said, should I get my affairs in order? The response was immediate. I had an aggressive peritoneal cancer, and even with treatment, I had about 12 months to 18 months to live. The doctor explained that a life-saving surgery called HIPIC was not possible for me. It was a very aggressive surgery. I'd been ill for a long time, and the thinking was I would not survive it. Yet when I heard this, I didn't feel worried or distressed or anxious. I had a supernatural peace from God. In the world of chaos and uncertainty, the peace that Jesus offers is not merely a fleeting emotion, but a profound state of being. It's a peace that surpasses understanding. It doesn't matter what the circumstances of our life are, be they good or bad. It comes from knowing that the Lord walks with you, and He walks with us in all our circumstances, anchoring our souls amidst life's storms. It comes from the presence of the Holy Spirit in our lives. And in that we know that He is with us when we fight our life's battles. It is knowing that the Lord walks with you. And because the Lord is walking with you, the outcome, whether it is healing in this life or the next, no longer holds fear. Instead, there's a deep and abiding peace, knowing that in life or in death, you are held securely in His love. The treatment plan was a success, and I had 2.5 years living cancer-free. Then at the beginning of April 2023, I was told my cancer was back. This time though was different. I was fit. I'd been well for 2.5 years. So HIPIC surgery was a possibility. But there were two things that could be an issue. One was my genetic heart condition. The other was 2 tumors that were growing on the walls of my abdomen. Further tests would be done and the results sent to Basingstoke for them to decide if I was suitable. At the healing service a few days later, I went for more prayer. This time I received visions. I saw old wounds blackened with age, healing up. And I saw new wounds, fresh wounds, healing. And when I went to the doctors after the test, I was told that I was approved for surgery. I said, what about the problems, the heart condition, the tumors on my abdomen? The doctor said, well, there's nothing wrong with your heart. Well, I was astounded. I had all sorts of test results that I had over the last 9 years showing leaky valves. Now it was healed. And as for the tumours, the doctor said it must have been scar tissue. But there was nothing there now. An old wound, a new wound's healing. I now knew what the Lord could do. Just prior to going into Basingstoke, the surgeon had a call with Sally and I. He said, "Sally, I want you to do something for me." And she went, "What is it?" "Anything." And he was, "Sally, I want you to pray that the Holy Spirit works through my hands when I'm operating on your husband." You can only imagine the peace and relief that she felt, the anxiety that was taken away. The operation was a success, and I've recovered well. Since then, I've been involved in a number of fundraising walks. And through my battles with cancers, I have learnt that perseverance alone is not enough. In the Bible, James reminds us of the power of prayer, the divine conduit through which we speak to God. It's through prayer that we align our will to God's will, placing our anxieties at His feet and receiving the peace that Jesus promises us. I'd like to finish with a few words from Paul in Romans chapter 15. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in Him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Thank you.